Hey folks, how you doing? Dave MCRAE here. Oh, it's Tuesday morning! Let's do this, shall we? Good morning, everybody. It's Tuesday, June 30th, 2020, 11:06 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm coming to you live from the VoiceMann Studios in Toronto, Canada. And this is episode 74 of MCRAE Live. I want to thank everybody who is tuning in today, tuning in live, tuning in the case is. And it is a exciting week for me and us and everybody attached to the It's Me, Billy fan film, of course, the Black Christmas fan film. We are gearing up to launch, in case you don't know, and don't follow me on social media and only watch Halloween videos that I do.
Dave, I don't watch anything else you do, Dave. I don't watch anything else you do. I just want Halloween stuff. Give me some Halloween stuff. Is Dave talking about Halloween today?
No, I don't think he is.
Oh, fuck it then. I don't give a shit. I just...
We're gearing up. We're gearing up to launch our Indiegogo campaign this Saturday, July the 4th, which of course is Independence Day in the United States. And tomorrow, here in Canada, it is, for all intents and purposes, our Independence Day. It is July 1st, which is known as Canada Day. Canada Day. For those of you south of the border that have no doubt probably don't know that. Because it's not like, you know, they're making any Hollywood movies around Canada Day. On Canada Day. I can laugh at myself. Sounds so cheesy, doesn't it? So, but anyway, yeah, so tomorrow is Canada Day, basically our 4th of July. Everything's been canceled, fireworks, celebrations, parades, whatever. I mean, everything's canceled anyway, so who gives a shit? And then, of course, this Saturday is the 4th of July, and we didn't really time it like that. I don't think that was really an intentional decision. It just sort of kind of lucked out that is sort of the last kind of moments that we have before we have to reconstruct the campaign again. And what happens is that for those of you that have never used Indiegogo, what you do is you sign up, of course, you create an account, you go through all the rigmarole of the legal stuff and, you know, the bank stuff and all that kind of stuff. You got to add all that. But anyway, your campaign, your draft, as they call it, it's in draft mode until you actually publish it. It can sit in draft mode for about 6 months, and then once the 6-month mark is up, it will automatically just be deleted. Or you have to either publish it or create a new draft if you're not quite ready and transfer everything over. Well, this is my second draft. And the first draft was because I started working on the Indiegogo campaign a year ago. And of course, once we hit December of 2019, it was like, and we're not ready to go, you know. So I had to copy everything and shift it over to a new draft, which I did on January 5th. And so this new draft has been sitting there, will be 6 months this Sunday, which is the 5th of July. So we either delay it more and I move everything over, or we launch. And I think we're going to launch. And we do understand that, of course, we are still in the middle of a pandemic and you know, not everybody may be able to contribute, but we certainly want to give this a shot. We feel we're ready. We were going to launch in April. We delayed it May, we delayed it. June, we delayed it for obvious reasons. We felt that was the right thing to do. But the summer is here. People are feeling, maybe a bit better, maybe a little more optimistic than they were, say, 3 or 4 months ago. It's the 4th of July, which just so happens to be, Independence Day, of course. And, maybe it'll work in our favors. Maybe, the warm weather and the optimism that maybe you're hopefully feeling, although I do understand that the political climate is a fucking shit show. But nonetheless, hopefully there is some optimism in you somewhere and maybe, so we're sort of maybe counting on that. So we are launching this Saturday, July the 4th, we are launching the Indiegogo campaign. And again, our budget, we're not 100% sure exactly what the numbers will be. But we are hoping they will be, the budget will probably be anywhere from 55,000 to 60,000 Canadian, which is about between 40 and 45,000 US. And we'll see what happens, man. We'll see what happens. But I've been releasing, I released the second video this week. I released a video yesterday of me talking about how sort of the idea of It's Me, Billy came to be. I released a video today talking about why Black Christmas is not really one of the more popular horror movies or franchises, if it is even that. When we talk about sort of the tentpole horror franchises. And then tomorrow I'll be releasing another video. Thursday I'll be releasing another video, and Friday there will be one final video before the campaign launches on Saturday. Now, what time the campaign will launch on Saturday, I don't know. Probably, I'm thinking I might do a live stream maybe to launch it, although I'm not 100% sure yet. But it will it will be launched either Saturday morning or Saturday afternoon. It will be launched, and it will be launched with the Indiegogo teaser trailer. Of course, the teaser trailer will be up on YouTube that day as well. We're going to send out a press release either Friday night or Saturday morning, and hopefully maybe some online horror publications will pick it up. Of course, they're not obligated to do so, but we shall see. We shall see. I do know that obviously, we'll see what happens, but that's sort of the goal there. And then this Thursday, Thursday, I don't know why I said it like that. This Thursday, myself and Bruce are going to be gone for the day, so there is no MCRAE Live this Thursday. There will not be a MCRAE Live this Thursday, and the reason for that is because myself and Bruce will be on the road very early Thursday morning, traveling to several locations that we are looking at for the movie, and these locations are, about a 4.5 hour drive away, one way. So you just add up all the driving. We'll be driving for, probably 8 or 9 hours on Thursday. And we have some people we're meeting and whatnot. And maybe, I can't guarantee this, but maybe Bruce and I will even do a live feed from the car. Maybe we'll do a live feed from the car on the road trip. We'll just be like, hey, what's going on, fuckers? I don't know. Maybe not. I don't know. So we're going to be doing that too. So, it's a busy week. There's definitely, we're nervous, of course. We're excited. We really, I don't know what to think. I am cautiously optimistic, but I'm not under any delusions. I do know that we are in the middle of a pandemic. I do know that, as I've said many times, Black Christmas is not, it's not Halloween. It's not Friday the 13th. It's not A Nightmare on Elm Street. It's not even Child's Play. So I do know that, raising $45,000 US for a Black Christmas fan film would be wild. That'd just be like, wow, like that, a huge success, because Black Christmas is not, it's not one of those. There's still tons of people that have never seen it. There's still a lot of people that never even heard of it. I mean, the original. I mean, they probably know now because of, the remake and things like that. But there's a lot of people that haven't seen that movie. And it's a slow burn, older kind of movie. And it's dated and, it's not like it's action-packed or anything like that. So it's, you really have to love the nuance of that, psychological theater of the mind kind of thing. Because if you don't, if you're expecting Elm Street or Friday the 13th, or even maybe a little, you ain't going to get that. It's more Halloween than it is those other two, but it's even more of a slow burn, than Halloween. And of course doesn't have the Halloween music, right? But anyway, so I don't know what's going to happen, but I do know that, we're crossing our fingers and we haven't left anything on the table. We've done what we can. And if we can raise the budget, then we move into the next phase. Then we move into pre-production. And whether or not we'll be able to actually shoot this November, I don't know. I don't know if we'll be able to shoot November. If we can't shoot November, I have inquired to the cast and to Greg, who's our DP, if what is their schedules like early next year, like January, February, March, that kind of thing. Because you could still shoot a Christmas movie in like February or January or something. And everybody was like, yeah, I'm like free right now. I don't really have anything. So, I mean, yeah, so it's possible that we may not be able to shoot until early next year, but that really all depends on if we raise the money or not too. Because let's say we want to raise, 45,000 US, right? Okay. Which is pretty, that's pretty in the ballpark of Never Hike Alone or Never Hike in the Snow, Dylan's New Nightmare. Like it's all in the same sort of ballpark. So let's say we want to raise that. Okay. Let's say we raise, 70,000, which would just be insane. Well then, or if we raise that and then some, well then it's more possible because we don't have to spend more time trying to raise money, right? So if we raise like $50,000, then it's a foregone conclusion that it's pretty much a done deal, and it's like, well, we're done. Like this is great. So now we can move right into pre-production and we might be able to expedite that a little bit because we have the money. We don't have to think about, okay, well, we have a little bit, but we don't have enough for this. We don't have enough for that. So we're going to have to maybe launch another campaign to raise, the rest, hopefully. And that takes a lot of time and a lot of work. So if we can raise the money, we might be able to shoot this thing in November because now we just roll right into pre-production, which is a lot of work. Don't get me wrong, but certainly there isn't that, well, we still need more kind of thing, right? Which would more than likely inevitably delay the production. And then of course there's COVID-19, which is lingering, always there, right? Who knows what's going to happen? I mean, here in Canada, our numbers are significantly down than where they were a few months ago, but it's certainly not, eradicated, and it's not completely gone. And people are taking precautions and doing all that kind of thing. And so there is that too. That we have to think about. I mean, we might be ready to go, but then all of a sudden there's a spike because it is the colder weather. And maybe there's a spike and down goes the production again. But the good news is that if we can raise the money, we have the money. So if something gets delayed because of COVID or if, whatever the case is, it sucks. It really does suck, but you've got the money. So that, well, that's okay. It sucks, but now we can do a couple more table reads. We can fine tune the script a little bit. We can just hunker down and dive deeper into pre-production, and any filmmaker will tell you if you can have a little more time doing pre-production, that's always a good thing. So, but at least we're not that worry of whether or not we're even going to be able to is no longer there because we've got the money, so it's sitting in a bank, ready to go, So, okay, we can't shoot November. We will have to wait till February. Let's hypothetically say, right? Not a big deal. We've got the money just sitting there waiting, ready to go, right? And then, of course, throughout the pre-production process, we take the allotted amount that we were going to use for pre-production, which is great. So, I really don't know. Some people have asked me, do you think you're going to raise it? And I said, I think it's possible. I know people are excited about it. I know that certainly we will raise something. I mean, there's a lot of generous people out there and a lot of people that want to see this thing happen. My only worry, like I said, is that it's Black Christmas, because it's just not an IP that people generally get really excited about. Generally, people want Halloween, want another Halloween fan film. You know what I mean? More Halloween. And there's nothing wrong with that. I think it's great that people are Halloween obsessed, but it's a very saturated, market space in terms of fan films. And I think Black Christmas I really see an opportunity here. I guess I'm that kind of person. Like it's one of the things that got me started on YouTube, doing this kind of thing, was in 2017. When I knew that they were moving in, I think they were still in development on Halloween 18. And we had learned that, Carpenter was on board. And then in September of 2017, Jamie Lee Curtis came on board. And I had already started doing, some videos on my channel. But one of the reasons why I started doing videos on my channel is because I saw sort of a void. There were people that were talking about horror movies and talking about Halloween, but they weren't talking about, the original intent of the movie and the psychological, layers that are there and the subliminal messaging that's there. And nobody was really talking about that. They were just sort of all talking about the same things. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like, what they were talking about wasn't incorrect. It's just nobody was really diving deeper that I could see. Now, there's no doubt there are people on there that did that, but nobody that I really came across, and I thought, yeah, what about this? What about that? Like, I want to talk about this. I want to talk about that. Like, isn't this cool? Isn't that cool? So I jumped on and I started doing it. And the rest is history, as they say. And here I am doing this YouTube show and, shows and videos now and stuff. So I kind of feel the same way about Black Christmas, where it's like, yeah, I could have done a Halloween fan film, sure. And taken it to the same level for which I'm doing It's Me, Billy, because, we are, by any measure, attempting to create a professional production. We're utilizing the resources and the connections that we have here in the film industry in Canada and doing the best we can with that. We want to deliver a production value that is, going to knock your socks off, as they say. You're going to go, wow, this looks like a legit movie. So a la, Never Hike Alone, Never Hike in the Snow, Dylan's New Nightmare, that kind of thing. Like we're taking it very seriously. So, it's one of those things where we knew that I lost my train of thought. I was going to say something. I forgot what I was going to say. It's just, maybe it'll come back to me. I've been not getting very much sleep in a while. But it's one of those things where, right, that's what I was talking about. So the Black Christmas so I wanted to do Black Christmas because I thought there was an opportunity here to do something that nobody was doing, that nobody thought about doing. I've often joked to Bruce that it's the fan film that people don't know they want yet. It's the fan film that people don't know they need yet. Like it's that kind of thing, and I wanted to do It's Me, Billy before Blumhouse announced their announcement for the 2019 film. It's true. And it was like it was very strange. It was very weird because when I said to Bruce I wanted to do It's Me, Billy, the reason why I wanted to do It's Me, Billy and bring Billy back is not because of the 2019 movie. It has nothing to do with that. Now it just kind of fits and it works, but it was really because of the 2006 remake. I didn't like that movie. I didn't like that they destroyed they took what Bob Clark had created and exploited it, in ways that were just kind of, they got rid of the mystery and they just, anyway, it is what it is. And I wanted to sort of bring that back. And then it was like 2 or 3 weeks later that Blumhouse announces they're remaking Black Christmas. And I was like, what? I was like, did somebody have spies in my, obviously I'm joking, but it was kind of like, what? And then I kind of got nervous because I was like, oh, really? Like they're going to just, and then I found out what they were doing. And I was like, oh, well, this has nothing to do with Billy. It's not even, I watched the 2019 film again for the first time, not for the first time, but again for the first time in like 6 months, a couple of days ago. And I don't even know why again, it's rhetorical. I mentioned this yesterday on Two Dudes. I know why they called it Black Christmas, but I don't know why you called it Black Christmas. You should have just called it something else. It has there's nothing in that movie other than Christmas and a sorority house that has anything to do with Black Christmas. Yes, I know there's a little nods when, because there's a girl that gets a bag over her head, like, attacked. And I know there's little nods, but it's nothing. You could have called that Sleigh Girls, Silent Night, Evil Noel. I don't know, anything else other than Black Christmas, and nobody would have batted an eye. And as I've said 1,000 times, I think you've actually done yourself a disservice by calling it Black Christmas. I know you wanted to ride the Black Christmas IP coattails, but really at the end of the day, Black Christmas is not it's not like Elm Street, or Michael. I mean, what the hell's the point? And the 2006 remake was god awful and nobody liked it anyway. So it's kind of like, why even bother? Like, again, it's I understand why they wanted to ride this name, but I think if your movie was going to have such a strong political message, which is fine, I agree, people should be allowed to do that. That doesn't mean that we, have to agree with it or go watch it, or maybe it feels a little pretentious and condescending, sure. But okay, fine. But if that's your goal, is to cut your movie from an R to a PG-13 and get young girls into the theater, that's great. Okay, fine. But if that's your goal, I think you've done yourself a disservice by calling it Black Christmas, because everybody watching it was pissed off. It was like, what the hell is this? It's not Black Christmas. So I think any message that you were trying to create or instill was sort of lost on everybody. I mean, not everybody, but most people, because everybody was too upset that this wasn't Black Christmas. So I think they should have just called it Sleigh Girls. And just allow us to kind of go, oh, it's kind of Black Christmassy, like Sorority House, Sorority Row, right? Sorority Row, just call it something else. Nobody watches Sorority Row and thinks, oh, Black Christmas, Sorority House. No, because it's a different name. There's no Billy, it's completely different. So, and then your message probably would have resonated a bit more, because people wouldn't have been caught up in the fact that this had nothing to do with Black Christmas. Anyway, so it actually, I think, works in our favor a little bit, because I thought Blumhouse was going to remake Black Christmas with Billy and do everything. And I was like, well, that sucks. I was like, I just announced this. It's like, what? But they didn't. And so we went ahead and we want to bring Billy back. And again, It's Me, Billy is a short film. So it's not a feature-length film, it's a short film. And a lot of people have asked me how much do I think it would, or how long do I think it would be? And it'll probably be anywhere between 25, 30 minutes long. The script is about 22, 23 pages. So, but this is a slow burn kind of movie, so there's no doubt that some of the action will be milked a bit, sort of create that slow. So I'm thinking, like 25 minutes, maybe 30 minutes max, 30 minutes max. But yeah, so I mean, but this is the week where we launch. And like I said, I just uploaded 2 videos this week, yesterday talking about how It's Me, Billy came to be. And then of course, why Black Christmas is not as popular with horror fans. And then tomorrow there'll be another one, Thursday and Friday as well. So any support you can give to the campaign, we really appreciate, of course. We do understand times are tough. Times are always tough, really. I mean, times are always tough. And it certainly depends on your financial situation. There are some people that have deep pockets, and there are other people that, donating $5 is incredibly generous to them. I mean, what you can and cannot afford is often relative, so do not feel that you have to, just because you're going to see tiers that are more expensive, like any Indiegogo campaign, doesn't mean that, that we're somehow saying you have to donate to not at all. They're just there because that's how you design and create a campaign with different tiers and incentives and all that kind of stuff. They are there for people who may be able to afford it. But there are lower tiers as well for that, like I've often said, that will be most affordable or affordable to most everybody. I always screw that up. So any little bit helps. Any little bit helps in bringing Billy back. And like I've said too, is that really campaigns are funded not just by somebody coming along with deep pockets, and saying, hey, here's $10,000, man. Totally, I believe in you. Here you fucking go. I mean, sometimes that happens, right? But that's not how generally these campaigns reach their goal. They reach their goal by a lot of people buying a lot of small tiers. You know what I mean? That's really how it works, right? And I've often said, I mean, if 1,000 people, which is a lot of people, don't get me wrong, that's a lot of special thanks in the special thanks section. But it's the principle of it, right? If 1,000 people all bought a Blu-ray, at like $25 a pop, I mean, you're halfway there, and then no doubt that more people will buy, the higher ones too. So it's not a crazy number when you think about it. But whether or not my channel, my talking about it, my doing little shows like this on it and getting the word out there and posting on social media, I mean, there's no doubt that I have probably reached enough people to fund it and then some. No doubt about it. The question is not the reach, the question is the interest. Are people watching this right now? We have 93 people watching, which is actually pretty good for a It's Me, Billy topic. But if I was talking about Halloween, we'd be up at like 193, right? So it's that kind of thing where not everybody's interested, not everybody cares, nor should everybody be, right? So, out of the 91 people, now we're going down because I'm calling you out. I'm not calling you out, but I'm talking about you. Now we're going down, and now it'll go down to 90 and then 89, then 88. But the question is how many of these 93 people, I would say, are interested, right? So it's not just the reach, it's the interest. And hopefully, people will believe in the project as much as we do and believe in its potential. And we'll see what happens. But it's so important to be able to raise the money too, because the money doesn't just go to the movie, it goes to the campaign. It goes to, the creating of all the perks, the distribution of all the perks, the shipping of we got to package everything up and we got to ship it everywhere. And it goes to all that too. Right. So, I mean, there's a lot of work that needs to be done. And there is no doubt that we will do It's Me, Billy-a-thons and all that kind of stuff on the channel. I want to get Bruce on. I want to get Victoria on and Shelby and Malika and Greg as well, our DP. We are in the process of hiring other crew as well right now. We wanted to, before we launched the campaign, we wanted to definitely have our DP locked. And I said that to Bruce. I said, when we launch our campaign, we got to have our DP locked in terms of crew. So when you go to the page, you'll see, crew, and then you'll see myself, Bruce, and Greg. I mean, that's not it. Yeah, you know what I mean? It's just that we haven't assembled the rest of the crew yet, but we are talking to people now. And if we're able to make this movie, we'll have a crew of about between 17 to 20 people, cast included. That's everybody from, first assistant director to, grips and script supervisor and props master and all that kind of stuff, right? Makeup. But we haven't solidified that yet. Because we want to make sure that we are moving forward with the film, but we definitely want to have our DP locked, and we're just so excited to work with Greg. So yeah, this Saturday, July 4th, folks, the campaign launches. I'm excited about it. I hope you guys are excited about it. I really anything that you can, spare is greatly appreciated, especially during this pandemic and everything that's going on right now. You guys are awesome. Let's go over to the chat room here and see what you guys are talking about. Some super chats came in, all from mostly Intel Wild. Intel, my main man, I love you, buddy. You're just great supporter of the channel here. Says, bring Billy back. Bring Billy back 2 in a row. Intel Wild also says, at the end of the day, it's only $45K. Yeah, you're doing these rhymes. It sounds like a lot of money. And by any stretch of the imagination, it is. I mean, $45,000 is some people's yearly salary, right? But in the world of movies, it's not a lot of money. It's not a lot of money at all. And people have reached out to me and asked, people are not everybody knows, the cost and how much it costs to make a movie and things like that, especially when you're making a movie at this level. It's all about the level of production value that we are trying to create and deliver for you. And when you want to make a real movie, albeit fan fiction, but if you want to make a real movie, it costs a lot of money. And in the world of making movies, $45,000 is really nothing. But to give you sort of an idea, I mean, and you've heard me say this before, but there might be some new people who are watching, it's not unprecedented that you could be spending $1,000 a day, right? Just on a location, and if you're shooting on a location for 6 or 7 days, I mean, that's $7,000 just for the location. That's just the location. That doesn't include, insurance, rentals, craft services, accommodations, crew, cast, equipment. I mean, it doesn't, that's just location. And then of course, if you want to, rent a let's say the Airy, Alexa or the Air, whatever, like a camera package, right? You might be spending, $1,000 a day doing that, or it usually is divided into the week. Like I believe they'll usually charge you 3 days and then they move into the week territory. But, you are going to spend several $1,000s on your camera package, so between the locations and the camera package could be 10 grand alone. You know what I mean? So it ain't cheap. It ain't cheap. And, but we really, are trying to do something that's very special, not just for us and to test ourselves and to really make a movie at this level for the first time. Because again, as I mentioned in the video that I posted yesterday, I've done a lot of little Halloween shorts and things like that. And I went to film school in the late 90s. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to make movies. That's what I wanted to do. But I fell into the acting side of things because I love acting too and performing and being crazy. I'm a very theatrical, outgoing sort of person. And then I fell into the voiceover side. And the filmmaking side, I always kept like my foot in there. And the little Halloween shorts were my way. It was my way really of sort of just keeping the creative juices flowing. I needed to create, I needed to shoot something, albeit on my little phone or on like my DSLR. I needed to shoot something because it's built into me. And any filmmaker knows that. You get antsy, like I need to shoot something. And Halloween was just really easy to do because it's all right there and I have everything I needed. But I would never claim that those little shorts I did were like professional independent films. I mean, they're clearly not, right? I think they're well made and they're well put together, but certainly, it's a different level. So like I said, I turned 40 last year and I've been thinking about it a long time. And I thought, I really want to make a go at this too, because I was inspired, like a lot of us were, from, Vince DeSanti and his Never Hike Alone and now Never Hike in the Snow and Dylan's New Nightmare. And, and I'm like, I work in the entertainment industry. I've been in it for nearly 20 years. I know filmmakers and I have access to resources and connections. I'm like, I fucking need to do this. I need to actually do this. So that's kind of was the catalyst. And I reach out to Bruce and he's like, let's fucking do this, and so that's how seriously we're taking this. We really want to deliver something that you watch and you go, wow, okay, it's a fan film, but I just literally watched a movie, so, and we're just so excited. And the cast is so good. Oh my God. I have a video that I'll be posting with me talking about the cast. Maybe I'll post it tomorrow. Maybe I will post it tomorrow. Actually, you know what? Tomorrow might be a good day because tomorrow's Wednesday. And Thursday I can post that one, and then Friday I can post that one, which would be good leading into Saturday. So yeah, I think I'm going to post the cast one tomorrow. Now they're not. I mean, they're not on the video talking, but it's me talking about it, showing their photos, and I do show a little snippet of the table read. Now you don't hear anything because I can't. You can't hear what they're talking about, but you do see a little bit of that. So maybe I'll post that tomorrow. But yeah, I mean, it sounds like a lot of money. It is a lot of money. It's not like it's $5, but in the world of movies, it's like pocket change, Let me see here. Intel Wild also follows up with, since no MCRAE Live on Thursday, then today is a 4-hour show. I wish. Yeah, no, I can't do 4 hours today, man. But maybe on Thursday, like I said, because Bruce and I are traveling that day, maybe we'll do like a little, and I can't promise anything. But maybe because there are some things we need to discuss in the car as well. We have a lot of, it'll be like a really big meeting that we're having as we're driving up to this place. So we need some sort of alone time to kind of hash some things out and talk about the script and the production, the campaign. But maybe we could jump on, for 10 minutes or something and do a live feed. I don't know. We'll see. Zigo RZ Skate 45 says, should a telethon type of deal through a stream where people can call into you and Tony, or just you? Send a super chat if you want to call in. I still have to set up the ability for people to call in, buddy. That is something that I'm going to do. It's something that I'm allocating most of the super chats that come in for the two dudes. I'm allocating towards that. There's software that I have to purchase, set that up. I have the ability to do that, but what I want to do is I want to set it up so people can call in, but I got to buy a number, obviously, because no disrespect, but I don't want to hand out my own phone number that way. But I need to have a number, and then there's a monthly cost for the software. And what you do is you call into the show, and I can put you on. We can have like a holding queue. It would be like calling into a radio show kind of thing, but it costs money to set that up. So I do want to do that, though. That is something that is something I want to do. So hopefully I can get that done this year. Because I think it's not something that I would do all the time. I mean, I certainly wouldn't want to move away from the questions in the chat to just phone calls. I don't want to do that. But maybe it would be like, we take some phone calls on two dudes, and then on Friday on my MCRAE Live, it's a call-in show, or maybe the last 20 minutes is call-in, or something like that, right? But we'll see. We'll see, though. But we definitely want to do like a couple of telethon type things on the channel here, raising money and taking super chats and all that kind of jazz. So it's crazy stuff, man, but we'll see. Super chat from Billy Van says, can't wait to start contributing. Dave, I've been spreading the word at my job to my friends and family. I wish you nothing but the best of luck. Thank you so much, Billy. I really appreciate that, man. Sometimes that's all it takes, right? People that I don't know. Maybe there's somebody that who knows somebody that's a gigantic Black Christmas fan and has deep pockets. I don't know. We don't know, right? We don't know. I mean, sometimes those things happen, and the more people that can know about it, obviously, the better it is for the film, I mean, there's no doubt, as I've said, we're going to raise something, but whether we'll raise 45 G's, is that it? I think that's right. 45K. GK, I always get them mixed up. I think it's the same thing, isn't it? Whether or not we're going to raise $45,000, I don't know. But I do believe it's very possible. I believe it's entirely possible. Because if I have 21,000 subscribers and 2,500 people follow me on Facebook, and 2,500 people follow me on Twitter, and 1,500 people follow me on Instagram, albeit it's probably much of the same people. But still, if even half of those people all bought a Blu-ray, or something like that, right? We're almost there. You know what I mean? Like it's that kind of thing, right? Now that's a lot of Blu-rays to have made, but that's what you do, right? You know what I mean? So it's certainly, it's very possible. It's totally possible. It's just whether or not people can because of the situation right now in the world, and whether or not they really have any interest in seeing this. And they might be, I mean, listen, there's no doubt there are fans of mine that are like, dude, Dave, I love you, man. I love your show. I love your shit, but I really don't give a fuck about Black Christmas. So I'm not going to give you $30, man. I don't care. I don't care about this. Right. Or sometimes it can be the opposite of that and go, Dave, I love your shit. This is fantastic. I'm not really a Black Christmas, fan, but I believe in you. It's like the old studio thing, right? Where it's like what what's his face said to George Lucas. And to be fair, I understand. I mean, this, it was original film. There, obviously it's an investment. They're making money back. They're making money. I get all that. But it's the principle of it. I remember the guy said to George Lucas, I really don't understand this. Dogs and spaceships and Wookiees. I have no idea what the fuck this is. But I believe in you because I think you're talented. So here you go. I mean, that's essentially how he got Star Wars made, so it's now again, I mean, there was the opportunity there that, this guy was going to make money. And, I get that it's not exactly the same, but certainly it's that belief, right? It's that I believe in you. I'm not really a fan of the property, or I don't understand it, or I don't care for it, but I believe in you. And I think you're going to make a fucking hell of a movie. So here you go, and sometimes there are people out there that are like that too. Right. So we'll see, my man. We'll see. Let's see. Kevin Dugan. Is it Dugan or Duggan? Dugan. Find people who will do the movie for free and will eat really cheap, and find people who will let you use locations for free or a small price. Problem solved. Well, Kevin, the problem is when you're making a movie at this level, nothing's for free. If you want to make something for free, then you have to sacrifice on quality. And unfortunately, that's just not the way the world of professional movies work, and although this is a fan film and it's a work of fan fiction, we are going through the process of making this as professional as possible. When you look at Never Hike Alone, or when you are about to look at, because you will this winter, hopefully, watch Never Hike in the Snow. I mean, I know things that you guys don't know yet. That's a professionally made film, and the production value on that movie would be comparable to anything you would see in a movie theater, Netflix, Amazon, anything. It is that good. That good. It's a professionally made production with professional actors, professional crew. That's what we're doing with It's Me, Billy. So, I agree with you that if we wanted to really just, hey, let's hire our friends, or let's get some students that want to work for free, and we'll get some crew. But you're going to sacrifice on quality. And when you want to shoot where we want to shoot, it ain't come cheap, and it doesn't come for free. And, but it will be worth it, because the quality of the movie will speak for itself, and you guys will be able to sit and watch it and go, holy fuck, like this looks fantastic. This looks like something I'd watch on Amazon. You know what I mean? Like, that's what we're talking about, right? We're not talking about, it's low budget because it's, in the world of movies, $500,000, $1 million is low budget in the world of movies. But we don't want to sacrifice on the quality of the picture. So yes, certainly if we got everybody to work for free, but that's just not the way it works. It's not the way it works. Ba-da-da-da, ba-da-da-da. Danita Brown says, I've never seen the 2019 Black Christmas. I did see the 2006 Black Christmas, and I really liked that one. Not sure I'm going to feel the same about the 2019 film. Can't wait for your movie. Well, Danita, thank you so much, by the way, for saying that. And yeah, the 2019 film is, as I've often said, it's not a bad little movie. Like, when I watched it again the other day, I was like, it's serviceable. It's fine. It's not the worst movie ever made in the history of motion pictures. It's not the worst movie I've ever seen. It's not. But it's not political subtext. It really, I mean, it's very obvious what this film is about, and I think they did themselves a disservice. I think they should have just called the movie Slay Girls and let the chips fall where they may. But they knew they couldn't do that. They needed the Black Christmas IP, and even though it's not as popular as Elm Street for, Halloween, whatever, it's still more popular than just calling a movie Slay Girls, and they tried to ride on that, and it didn't work because it's not Black Christmas. It would be like calling, it would be like calling Hereditary a Nightmare on Elm Street. It's like, what? It's literally not. There's no Freddy, no Heather, no dreams. It's like, what the hell is this? What the hell's going on? Like, it's. I mean, that's maybe a bit of an extreme, but it's that kind of thing, right? Where it's like, this isn't. What's going on here? And maybe the only thing that is similar is that, yeah, they do have maybe a dream here or there, and it's weird or something. But there's no Freddy, no glove, no anything. It's just so crazy. It's just, but they call it Nightmare on Elm Street because they know that, that's going to get access in the theater. It's just too bad. It's too bad because I think they did themselves a disservice. John Berg says, if I donate $5,000, which I'm thinking about, John, could I be in the movie? Is that is that a perp? I mean, perk, perp. I would say, okay, well, I want people to discover the perks when the campaign launches, but I will say that we do have an executive producer package, which is not inexpensive. It is expensive, but it is not out of the. It's not. It's in the same ballpark as the higher executive producer packages for Dylan's New Nightmare or Never Hike in the Snow. I mean, it's the same ballpark. So if you followed those campaigns, or if you donated to those campaigns, or if you donated to that perk on those campaigns, same kind of thing. In terms of a role in the movie, I will say that there is that option there. However, it is important to understand that COVID-19 could derail that. And that's out of our hands. I mean, that's not us taking that option away. That is legally, we would have to do that because either the borders might still be closed, and depending on what's going on when we shoot, health and safety is the utmost importance to our cast and crew, and it will no doubt more than likely be a closed set, which means that the only people allowed on the set are those directly involved in the production. Even family members of the cast and crew would not be allowed on the set. So now it's too early to tell if that's going to come to be, but certainly that is a high probability. And if that is the case, we cannot allow people to travel to the location to be in the movie. It's not personal. It would be the same for anybody. It would be the same if you were in my shoes. You'd be like, Dave, listen again. So if that's the case, then we would have to reintroduce a different perk that, may not be as exciting as actually being in the movie, but maybe something that is like, okay, I get that. Like, I feel okay about that, right? But it's important to remember that health and safety comes first, and that option, if you are donating that kind of money just for that option, I would advise against it because it's not guaranteed. It's just not guaranteed. We cannot guarantee that. If something were to happen between now and, let's say, November, when we go to camera, or if we go to camera in February, let's say, if something were to happen between now and then where there's a vaccine, or the world's changed and everything's back to normal, which is highly unlikely, it's not that far away, then okay, we might be good to go and you can travel and all that kind of stuff. But right now, it's something that is just, my advice again would be, if that's the only reason why you're doing it, don't do it because it's not guaranteed. Do it because you truly believe in the project and you love everything else that's part of the package as well. Oh, but I get this and I get that and I get this, and that's amazing. That's totally cool. Okay, maybe I won't be able to, but Dave, did say that they might think of something else that, they'll be able to introduce and blah, blah, blah. It sucks, but it's just not, legally we can't guarantee it, and we can't do it if we're still in the same spot. So hopefully that answers your question. But take a look over the perks and see what best suits you, and what you want to do, and anything that anybody is able to offer. Like I said, we really appreciate so much, man, and only do it. And I say this, and this is me being honest, only drop that kind of money if you can do it. Your family and your health and your well-being comes first. You know, don't drop this kind of cash if it's going to put you out on the street. Do you know what I mean? You know, and I just need to make sure that people understand that. Now, there is also a associate producer perk as well, which is less than the executive producer perk. So there is that option too. And I think there will be an option. I don't see this on the desktop version. Mind you, I am still in draft mode. But when I go to the mobile version, which is in draft mode as well, I see this option. So there's all the perks, but then at the end of all the perks, there's an option to just donate. So maybe you don't want to get any of the perks and you just want to donate. It's just like, dude, I have like, I got a bonus from work and I'm well off, I'm well set. Here's, you know, $5,000. And maybe and I'm not saying that you shouldn't get something for that. I'm just saying sometimes people, or maybe you've donated to several perks and you're like, hey, I got $30 here. I just want to, you know, I think you might be able to just donate as well. I don't see that option on the desktop, but I do see it on the mobile. And I think most people will be looking at this on their mobile phones. What other kind of phones are there nowadays? On their phones. So that option I think might be there too. But always do what's best for you. You know, we appreciate anything. Like I said, it's not about just relying on somebody coming in and going, here's, you know, $6,000 or something. It's about little perks from a lot of people. John Burke follows up, says, I'm in New York City, so it's only an hour flight. Thanks for answering. Cheers. Oh, that's not that far away. And no problem, man. No problem. Like I said, we have implemented that option in the very highest tier, which a lot of campaigns do, but there's just no guarantee that we'd be able to fulfill that. And you know, I know you understand. Like, I'm sure you're a completely reasonable person. It's like, oh yeah, I totally get it. Like it's unprecedented circumstances here. We can't have people coming in. You know, it'd be the same with me, right? Like you wouldn't want me coming. It's like, Dave, it's not, I mean, you know, I love you, man, but you know, we can't, you know what I mean? So, I mean, we'll keep our fingers crossed. Hopefully maybe things will start to kind of ease up a bit, but we'll see. Real Reveal says, I look forward to your film and we'll be supporting you on Indiegogo. Thanks so much, man. Would love to also be an extra in the film if you ever need anyone. I live in the area. Excited for what you're creating with Bruce. Well, if we do, definitely we will let you know. It's a pretty small cast, pretty small set. So we're pretty good, but you never know. Something might come up where I'm like, fuck, you know what? Maybe. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see, my man. We'll see. Let me see. Ed Red 77 says, hey, Dave, is there any possibility that It's Me, Billy goes to any streaming platforms? I don't know how that would work contractually, but if the film does well on YouTube, is that something that could happen? The answer to that is no, because It's Me, Billy can't be commercialized. We can't make money off the film because we don't own the Black Christmas IP. So we couldn't sell it to Amazon or Hulu or Netflix or anything like that. What It's Me, Billy can be used for, obviously, it will be for free for everybody to watch on streaming. And when I say that, I mean YouTube. But the great thing about It's Me, Billy is that if it's really well done and really well received, it can be the catalyst for maybe more, or it could be the catalyst that really allows people to take notice. You know, studios may be like, this is really fucking good. And I'm not saying that this would happen, but these kinds of things are not unprecedented. They don't happen every day. You don't do this for this reason because it's a crapshoot at the end of the day. But sometimes people take notice and go, Jesus, you want to actually, you know, and then It's Me, Billy becomes sort of like a pitch, you know, and then it's kind of like, you want to do this for real? You know, like, and it is real. Like, it is all like what you did was real. It's a real movie, but you want to actually get paid. You want to make it official and do. And you know, sometimes that happens. Sometimes it happens. Now, again, you don't do this for that because it really is, you know, highly unlikely. But it's not unprecedented at the end of the day. And you know, so making a movie, even though it's a fan film and it's fan fiction, when you make it to the level that we're trying to do, it becomes a great portfolio piece and something you can be like, hey, I've done this. And be like, oh shit. Okay. Yeah. Like, you know what you're doing, you know, and that's what we're trying to do. So, no, it can't, but we can't option it. Like we can't sell it to like, hey, Netflix, you want to play It's Me, Billy? And no, we can't do that. We can't do it. You kidding? We'd be sued out of our asses. So no, but YouTube for free for everybody to watch. Absolutely. Crystal Lake Counselor 1977 says, Dave, you said it would have been an issue to have to explain where Michael was for 40 years, if not incarcerated. Will you run into that same issue with the return of Billy? That's a great question. The answer to that is no. And the reason why the answer to that is no is because Billy and Michael Myers are not the same people. And Michael is somebody who has, you see, Michael is somebody that there is a supernatural element to Michael. Even though he's human, there's this supernatural ability that, let me see here. I know what I want to say. I'm just trying to figure out how to compartmentalize my thoughts so I explain it right. Michael Myers is somebody that has been incarcerated for 15 years. He's somebody that lacks an understanding with, conscience, reason, understanding in even the most rudimentary sense, which means simplest, right? His ability to survive for 40 years in captivity, or not in captivity, but just out there, without somebody discovering him seems problematic. He's walking around in a jumpsuit with a mask on. It's the kind of character he is, where Billy, on the other hand, is somebody that was hiding, was presumably out in plain sight before Black Christmas. He's by all accounts more, normal in the sense that he could fit in. He would just be that weird guy. He wasn't incarcerated, right? He wasn't, he didn't spend 15 years in a prison where, and now he's escaped and people are looking for him. Nobody's looking for Billy, nobody's looking for Billy because people at the end of Black Christmas thought that Peter was the one that committed all the murders. So Billy can then go back into the society and exist, and nobody cares because nobody knows that that's Billy. Nobody knows that that's him. Michael is a different story. People are looking for Michael. People would have been looking for Michael. People would have been on, he would have been on the FBI's most wanted list. There would have been photos of him, his face, not the mask, his face. There would have been photos of him all over the place. Billy, not so much. Billy's somebody that just was, let's say he was, and we don't know anything about it, but let's say he was like, I don't know, 23 years old or something, right? And he's just this weird, creepy guy that just, one day all those boiling feelings came to a boiling point, and he went out and he decided to commit murder, and he has these weird fantasies and things like that. But, to kind of dip back into the shadows and live amongst us, that's what he was doing before Black Christmas. That's what he was doing before that night. So, nobody's looking for Billy. And that's the most important thing to keep in mind, is that at the end of Halloween, people would be looking for him. At the end of Black Christmas, nobody looking for Billy because they thought that Peter was the one that did it. Nobody's looking for him. So he can just be like, hello, and just kind of go off and go back down the street to live with, I don't know, Agnes or whoever, and sit there and wait and get, until, or maybe there's a string of murders that have happened over the years that he's been responsible for. But again, nobody's been able to figure it out. It's a very different kind of thing. What Billy has been doing in the last 40 years is it's irrelevant when you think about it, because nobody was looking for him. If people knew it was Billy, if people knew what he looked like, if people knew that this was the killer and it just ended like that, then it's like, yeah, what has he been doing for 40 years? How would people even, what the hell has he been doing? But nobody's been looking for him. So that's why it works. you know? Does that make sense? Does that make sense? That's why, like, there's a multitude of things of why, but that's the big one. The big one is people would have been looking for Myers. People would not have been looking for Billy. That's the big one. That's the big one. And Myers, to survive out in the world would be difficult, I think, for somebody like Myers to do so because of the character he is without somebody coming across him. Billy, on the other hand, I think he could do it because he'd been doing it for many years prior. Hopefully that made sense. Anyway, Frank Riker says, rest in peace, Carl Reiner. Oh no, that must have just come in today. Carl Reiner, good old Carl Reiner. Of course, not Rob Reiner, folks, not the guy that directed Stand By Me, but his father, Carl Reiner. Well, you know what? He lived a good life. I mean, he was what? 90 something? He had to have been, because Rob Reiner's got to be in his late 60s or early 70s or something like that. So I would say that Carl Reiner had to have been in his 90s at least. Another legend gone, folks. Another legend gone. Oh, my. Hey, there we are. Move over to this shot. This is pretty good. Let me see. Robert Kitzmiller says, I saw Billy at the grocery store playing with the avocado. Like, oh, this is a fucking weird guy. Machete Slasher says, hey Dave, I'm planning to release the first teaser for my no-budget short film this Friday and wanted your opinion on when to drop the first and only trailer. Should I drop it a month later or earlier? Well, when are you planning on releasing the movie? That should be that's the first thing I would ask. When are you planning on releasing the movie? If you're not planning on releasing it until next summer, I wouldn't release well, I guess you could release a teaser, but I wouldn't even release that yet. He was 98. Wow. Oliver Mercer and Kevin Dugan say he was 98. That's crazy. Yeah, I figured he might have been or should have been. Manhammer AR-15 says, Sir Dave, just curious, but in your most humblest of humble opinions, of course, do you think Incelism. I understand what you're saying. Okay, I understand what you're saying. Sorry, I was like, incelism is a major contributor to recent cancel culture and over-exaggerated SJW, anti-SJW finger-pointing. Well, like I always say, Manhammer, I don't like to get political on this channel, and I'm not, I don't know, to be honest with you. Oh, there you're down there. I don't know, to be honest with you. You know, I have thoughts and feelings and opinions like we all do on the matter, but I certainly am not neck deep into it. I don't know. But I will say this, and I've said it before and I will say it again because I don't think you can overstate this at all. The thing that worries me the most about this new society that we appear to be trying to create is the stripping down and canceling of nuance and context and making everything just black and white. No pun intended, by the way, but making everything black and white. The world is full of shades of gray, full of it. And most people who try to live their lives in absolutes and just black and white are miserable people because life always throws you curveballs. It never goes the way you want it to go. There are always things you have to work out. There is nuance everywhere, and context fucking matters. It matters. It absolutely matters. And I will never for the rest of my life think otherwise. Context and nuance matters. And it scares the hell out of me that we appear to be wanting to just yes, no, right, wrong, black, white, everything. Because you can't do that. You can't do that. There are many shades of gray and many situations that people will run into. And people who try to live their lives in absolutes and, you know, yes, no, black, white, when they're tossed a curveball, and they don't know what to do, they're like, you know, and they get angry and they don't know how to ride the wave. They don't know how to problem solve. They don't know how to, you know, go with the flow and work around it or see the bright side of things, or see the glass half full instead of empty, or, whatever the case is, because everything is just so starkly laid out, and, no, it doesn't. That scares the hell out of me. And I see it everywhere. Everywhere. In politics, sports, fandom. You've often heard me say things are either a 10 out of 10 or it's shit. And it's like, so Dave, did you like the movie? Yeah, I did. I loved it. Yeah, you did? Yeah, I loved it. I'd say it was like a 7, 8 out of 10. What? Oh, so you didn't really like it. What the fuck are you talking about? I loved it. And that's a really weak example, but it's that kind of thing everywhere. That scares me, especially in shaping society, and the things that we are dealing with right now, the hot button political topics. Scares me. Context matters. You throw that out the window, nothing means anything anymore. You can just arbitrarily it doesn't mean anything. This utopia that they're trying to create is just unrealistic and will never be achieved. Ever. It won't. And it scares the hell out of me. I'll just say that. Cavern of Terror sends in a super chat. Thank you, buddy. Says, you may not have seen this film, but how do you feel about the long-running fan theory that Billy from Black Christmas was the mentor to the killer in Behind the Mask, The Rise of Leslie Vernon? I've heard of the movie. I didn't know that was a theory. I had no idea, so I'm not really sure how to comment on it because I don't know. The only story I know in regards to Black Christmas was, of course, how it inspired John Carpenter's Halloween, and how, according to Bob Clark, he had a conversation with John Carpenter about making a sequel to Black Christmas. And John Carpenter said, you should make a sequel to that movie, or are you going to make a sequel, whatever. And Bob Clark said, I didn't get into this business to just make horror movies because, I want to make a bunch of stuff. I mean, the director of Black Christmas also directed A Christmas Story. Crazy. So he said no. And according to Bob Clark, John Carpenter said, well, if you did, what the hell would you do? And he said, I don't know. He said, I would probably set it maybe a year later. Billy's been incarcerated. He escapes on Halloween. Oh yeah. Yeah. Literally. There's videos of Bob Clark, the director, online saying that. I mean, that's not just like something I've read. That actually is from the horse's mouth, as they say. So now whether that is 100% true and that is exactly how the conversation went down, or if Bob Clark somehow was kind of just, embellishing a little bit, I don't know. But Black Christmas, as we know, predates Halloween by 4 years. Bob Clark and John Carpenter did know each other. They did like each other. They were, I'm not going to say the best of friends, but certainly professional acquaintances. And certainly there is a lot of Halloween in Black Christmas in terms of its style and its mood and the, POV. And I don't know. That I do know. And that wouldn't surprise me if Carpenter took inspiration from that. Kind of crazy stuff. Justin Simonson, thank you very much, buddy. Says, I'm very excited for this film. Wasn't a big fan of the original film, but with your unique style and taste, I have faith in you and the crew will bring something special. Well, thank you for saying that, man. I really appreciate it. And it's true, not everybody is big fans of Black Christmas, right? I mean, it's a dated movie, 1974. It doesn't have the Halloween soundtrack. It doesn't have, Michael Myers and all that cool stuff. But it's it's old school sort of, like, it came out in 1974, but it's got a very Hitchcock, so does Halloween, but it's got very sort of that older 60s. Like if Black Christmas was in black and white, it would feel very much like a movie that came out in like the 50s or something. It's got that kind of pacing, that kind of slow burn. It's not an overly exciting movie. And when I say that, I don't mean it's not exciting. I just mean that it's a pensive, not pensive, but it's a slower moving film, but it's really creepy and really eerie. And the idea, the thing that sold Black Christmas at the end of the day, was really the babysitter and the man upstairs urban legend, which of course was something that was huge back then, back in the 50s, 60s, 70s, especially because back in the 60s and 70s especially, because babysitting was a huge thing, right? I mean, that's one of the reasons why Halloween was originally titled The Babysitter Murders, and it was all about babysitting. Babysitting was a huge thing, and that urban legend about the babysitter and the man upstairs and the phone call, which of course inspired the original 1979 When a Stranger Calls, and that kind of thing. They used that same sort of urban legend. And in Black Christmas, it wasn't babysitters, it was sorority girls, and there was nobody, babysitting per se. But the idea that somebody was calling and making crank calls, but the calls were coming from within the house, right? That's the moment. That's, oh my God, like holy shit. Do you know what I mean? Like that's that sort of thing. So was frightening. And especially in 1974, it was terrifying. Watching that movie in 74, again, context matters. If we can think about that movie in 1974, it's like, wow, man, that's scary shit. That's scary stuff, So, but I do understand that today it got lost in the shuffle because, as I mentioned, there's no, it didn't really, there was no franchise around it, so. But thank you for saying that, man. I really, really do appreciate it. Michael Dean says, Dave, I just noticed you have over 400,000 views on your Halloween fan film. Do I? That's awesome. I think I knew I was closing in on that. I haven't checked in a long time. That's awesome, man. Did you have fun doing that movie? How did you find those actors? Well, the actors were just all my friends. You know what I mean? And so it was fun to do. Look, Halloween the Night He Came Back is one of those movies that, it's professionally made in the sense that we put a lot of care into the, editing and the cinematography, but I didn't approach it in the ways that I'm approaching It's Me, Billy. I mean, it's not a professional independent film. It's just me having fun with my friends, trying to create something cool with mood and, atmosphere and all that kind of stuff. And then when I was nominated for my first Voice Arts Award in 2015, I saw an opportunity to not only visit the original shooting locations of Halloween for the first time, but actually shoot there and get the original locations in a Halloween fan film, which had never been done before. Now it's been done a couple of times, but it had never been done up to that point. So that was kind of exciting. And, but yeah, no, I mean, we had a lot of fun, but it's not, and it's fine. I mean, there's things about it now that I look back and I'm like, I should have done that. Or, I should have done this. Certainly 100%. And one of those things was, I think it was a little too ambiguous. It was a little too ambiguous. I should have had a little more in-person interaction with some of the characters, but we were just kind of flying by the seat of our pants. We were just kind of making something fun, experimenting, having a good time. That's what you do, right? You get out there and you have some fun, and, but I knew when I was going to do It's Me, Billy, it was like, okay, no. We got to do this. Like, we got to do this real, like for real, so so I wouldn't look at Halloween the Night He Came Back and think that that's what It's Me, Billy is going to be like in terms of the look and feel and the and the production value. It won't be. It'll be much higher than that. But I appreciate you saying that because it is sort of fun, but I didn't know it has over 400,000 views. That's insane. That's like almost 500,000 views. That's crazy. I'll have to look. I admit, I haven't clicked on that video in probably over a year. It's been a long time. I know it's one of my most viewed videos, but I don't go back and really watch it. I haven't watched it actually in probably a couple years because it's from 2016 now. So it's 4 years old. But that's cool. That's cool that you, or that it has over 400,000. And it was fun. It was fun. But it was all my friends. It was my friends that I was using. So Let's see here. Awesome50 says, hey, Dave, hello from the UK. Very excited about It's Me, Billy. Looking forward to the Indiegogo campaign launch. Wish you all the best of luck with it. Thank you very much, man. Really, really appreciate that. Robert Andrew Paul says, Dave, if you were to guess the plot of Scream 5, what would it be? Well, I don't know. David Arquette is back in it, right? He's back in it. I'm not sure. That's a really good question. I would say... I don't know, because is Nev Campbell going to return? Like, really, at the end of the day, if Nev Campbell doesn't come back, that makes me have ideas. But if Nev Campbell's going to, I don't know. I really don't know. David Arquette, like, is he the only one from the original crew that's coming back? Or is he the only one that's been announced so far that's coming back? Because those are two different things. I don't know. Certainly, I think it is going to be utilizing today's technology and implementing, trying to appeal to a younger youth of today. I absolutely believe that, 100%, for sure. What that is, I don't know yet, but certainly something like that. Alexander Dirksen says, how much money do you need for a It's Me, Billy full-length film? And do you have a script for a full-length It's Me, Billy? I mean, realistically, to do a full-length feature film with It's Me, Billy would, if that were to take place, what we would do is we would do it in installments, right? So you would do like It's Me, Billy, which we want to do. And then you would do a follow-up to that. And then maybe one last follow-up to that. So you do like 30 minutes, 30 minutes, 30 minutes, make it 90 minutes, right? And then what the budget is for each movie obviously would depend on what's all involved in each movie and who's involved. I mean, that would change. But ballpark it, I mean, if you say, let's say it costs $45,000 to make It's Me, Billy. It costs $40,000 to make, part 2. It costs another 40, whatever. You're looking at probably $130,000, $140,000, probably. But I would rather raise that in several campaigns than in one. Look, if we were able to raise that in one campaign, that's fucking amazing, right? That's amazing. That's totally amazing. That's unbelievable. I felt like Trump there. It's unbelievable. It's fun. It's great. It's amazing. It's fantastic. Anyway, he does that. He's like, Mike, come over here. Talk about it, Mike. You okay, Mike? I love you, Mike. You're fantastic. You're great. You're wonderful. I love It's Me, Billy. I love Billy. He's great. I love him. He's amazing. I wanted to hire him, but I didn't hire him. I didn't care. Billy. Love it, Dave. Love It's Me, Billy. It's fantastic. I'm going to donate 100 million. 100 million. Can you imagine? It's Me, Billy in space. No, but anyway, back to what I was saying. Back to what you were saying. Get back to it. It would probably cost over $100,000. But usually what happens is that when you're doing fan films, the right thing to do is not to sort of draw any, legal action onto you, is to gross that in installments. So like you raise, this much for part 1, raise that for part 2. And so it's like one movie divided into 3 parts. It's probably the best way to do it. Because if you start making several $100,000 all in one shot, people are going to start to notice. Not that, but it's you got to be careful, right? There's that fine sort of line. I know that Vince was able to raise over $100,000 for Never Hike in the Snow, which is amazing. Now, all of that, I don't imagine, is going to Never Hike in the Snow. Say half of that will go to Never Hike in the Snow, and then he'll probably take the other half of that to start pre-production on the next installment, which I think he's got Never Hike Alone, Never Hike in the Snow, and then he's got like 2 or 3 more that he wants to do in this web series. And then if you piece them all together, it's like a full-length film. Do you know what I mean? So, but yeah, I would say that. I mean, realistically, at the end of the day, a 90-minute movie would probably cost us, $140,000, $150,000, something like that. Let me see. Kevin Bacon's boner. Yes, there's always room for Kevin Bacon's boner, folks. Made his way into the room. And he says, in Kylo Ren's voice, nothing will stop. It's me, Billy. We will finish what you started. Ooh, I like it. I like it. I like it. I like that. I like it. Amar Alagic, Gick. I always get this mix of hard G, soft G. Sorry, buddy. But Amar says, Dave, have you seen the movie Don't Hang Up? Free on Tubi, I think. I gotta fucking down this Tubi. Everybody's talking about this Tubi, and I've yet to do it. It's a movie that I think you would enjoy. I have not. I've never heard of it, as far as I know. So I will definitely, I'll definitely check that out. Thanks so much, man. Tabitha says, gotta go, guys. Talk to you later. Have a good day, Dave and chat. Take care, Tabitha. Take care. Stay safe. Let me see. William Talbot says, hey, Dave, new sub here. Just want to say thank you for all the hard work you do making these vids. Really enjoyed your funnier vids like the one with the dryer. What the hell are you doing in my dryer? That's right. That's fun.
Hey, what the hell are you doing in my dryer? What the hell are you doing in my dryer, you damn son of a bitch?
I love doing things like that. I don't know. I was taking laundry out of my dryer, and for whatever reason, I just got this idea. You know, I was like folding my socks, and I'm like, oh, you know what? There's a lot of room in here, and there's a little light in here. And I'm like, you know what would be funny? Oh, man. Alexander Dirksen says, if you could make a film with a studio, would you take Blumhouse or A24? Well, I mean, it really depends on the project, right? I mean, either. I would take either, you know. Really, it's all about the project and what is the story that is being told and what is the, and am I excited about the project? Am I excited about the movie that they want me to direct or, you know, or something like that? I mean, that's really what it comes down to. And then the studio, not that the studio becomes irrelevant. Certainly there are studios that are known for producing a certain level of something else over another. A24 is interesting to me because I think A24 tends to be a little less mainstream, a little less pedestrian, you know, predictable than Blumhouse. Blumhouse has dished out some awesome movies, but they're dishing out they also dish out a lot of crap. You know, I mean, let's be honest, right? A24, not that A24 is, I mean, they've had a few misses too, but I do like that independent, grittier sort of style of some of the movies that they've helped bring to life. So that definitely is attractive to me. But if Blumhouse, I mean, it's Blumhouse. You know what I mean? It would be great for the career, great for, you know, the status, great for the connections to be made. I mean, Jesus, who would turn that down? But hopefully it would be something that I would be excited about and not something that's like, hey, we want you to make Attack of the Killer water bottles. And it's like, you know, it's like you got to sacrifice, you know, to, you know what I mean? Who knows? I don't know. You know, it'd be cool. I would totally, if they wanted to do, they would never hire me. What the hell am I, right? I'm, you know, but I would totally be on board for making a Happy Death Day 3 because I really like the first two. And I think Happy Death Day 3 should be called Happy Death Day to You because they have Happy Death Day. No. Happy Death Day, dear somebody. That's it. So they have Happy Death Day to You, and then they need to have Happy Death Day, dear so-and-so, like the happy birthday song. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear so-and-so. That's what they should call Happy Death Day Part 3. I don't think they're ever going to make one, though, unfortunately. Wayne Gotke sends in a very generous super chat. Thank you, Wayne. I really appreciate that, man. Says, Scream 5 only has two directions to go now. One, you make Sydney the killer, or you insist on keeping her the protagonist. You have to at least add depth to her character by having her own dark secret or sin be the motive. You know, it's a good point. I mean, I really think that Scream has really sort of, that well has run dry, as they say. I don't know where you go. You know, my worry is that they do sort of, it's a run-of-the-mill Scream film that feels different because they're utilizing today's technology and what's popular. So the excitement around the technology and maybe AI or you know, and apps and, you know, all that kind of stuff, which was there in 2011 too, but it's not like, I mean, social media wasn't what it was in 2011 like it is now. So that always bothers me too. If that becomes sort of the focal point that's driving everything forward, it feels kind of, but everything else around it is run of the mill. Yeah, I don't know. Scream 5. I agree with what you've said there, though. I do agree with that. I don't think that's the only options, but I think those are maybe two popular options that you could see. I don't know if I would make Sydney the antagonist or that she has a dark secret or the killer. Like I don't think I would do that. If I was going to do anything, I would make Dewey have some weird fucked up thing. And I know people love Dewey. They go, it's Dewey. He's so sweet. Yeah, but that's why it works. He's a weird fucking guy anyway. The character of Dewey is a weird fucking guy who would never be a cop in any other place but a small town. He would never be a cop in any other place but a small town. And he's weird. He's strange. And he's supposed to be that way. I mean, he was supposed to be that way in the first movie because he was supposed to be a little bit of misdirect, right? If you're watching Scream for the very first time in 1996 or early 1997, you were supposed to think, well, he's a little weird. He's kind of strange. Like maybe not. I don't know. But then he ends up not being that kind of guy. But they needed to keep that weirdness, that awkwardness, that socially awkward sort of kind of guy there. Listen, admittedly, I'm not a Scream head. I'm not obsessed with Scream in the franchise like some other people might be. What I've just insinuated there of him having a dark past or ending up being sort of the killer or maybe responsible for it all, I understand. I know that would be blasphemous for a lot of people who are just as obsessed with Halloween as with Scream as, say, I am with Halloween. I get it. Saying that would be maybe like somebody saying that Judith Myers should have survived. Like, what? You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying, Wayne? But in terms of the character, it makes sense. Sydney becoming the killer, in order to justify that, there would have to be some sort of reason she's changed. Like, I would not believe that she was always that way. I would not believe that she was just that way. Something would have had to have happened. She would have had some sort of psychological meltdown, or something. I don't believe doing a 180 for her character like that would be good. But Dewey, I think there is room where you could play in that sandbox because Dewey is that awkward, weird person anyway. So it's more believable to me that he could be something than Sydney. You know what I'm saying? So, but I get what you're saying, man. I do. I'm really looking forward to seeing more information that comes out about Scream 5 and who's going to be involved, because that'll really give us a sense and an idea once the cast is solidified what this could very well be about. I mean, if he's the only one that comes back and nobody else returns, then that might give us a really good idea of the sort of the temperature and the taste of what this movie is going to be like. Agent Priest says, that's a good idea for Sydney, but I'd rather her be the one thereafter again. I don't think she should be the I just don't believe it. She would have to have some sort of, the justification for it would have to be gigantic. And I just don't believe it. I don't believe that her character would do that. I don't believe it. Dewey, though. Dewey, yeah. Ryan Andrew Allen says, Dave, I legitimately want to make Attack of the Killer Water Bottles now. I'm telling you, Attack of the Killer Water Bottles, folks. Attack of the Killer Water Bottles. Crazy, crazy stuff. All right. Nick P. was here, says, the original Scream movie is arguably Wes Craven's best work. Great movie with one of the best reveals that has and will ever happen in cinema. I don't know if I think of that, but I certainly think it was his last best movie. It was his last really good movie. Now, I quite enjoyed 2005's Red Eye with Cillian Murphy and Rachel McAdams. I like that movie too. But you could say that Scream was sort of his last really good movie. Because I know he did Scream 2 and 3, and he did Red Eye, and he did, what's that one with the young kids there in like 2010 or something? What's that one? Oh, he also did he not do that one with, did he do that one with, oh God, why am I blanking? I'm blanking. I'm going to Google this. Wes Craven. Good old Wes. Who doesn't love Wes? Going down to director. He did do Cursed. Yes, Cursed, and the other one, My Soul to Take. That's the one. He did do Cursed. Cursed I thought was kind of fun to watch. I thought Cursed was kind of fun. Music of the Heart. He did Music of the Heart. Wow, total change of, I didn't know he did that. A total change. Story of a school teacher's struggle to teach violent inner city Harlem kids. I remember that movie, but I didn't know that Wes Craven directed that. Total like 180 from horror into sort of a drama with Meryl Streep. Really? There's some trivia right there. You could ask somebody, you could say, hey, has Wes Craven ever worked with Meryl Streep? Has Wes Craven ever directed Meryl Streep? I guarantee you, without looking, because, you look, it's cheating, right? A lot of people, because we associate Meryl Streep with, one of the greatest actresses in the history of cinema, which she is, we instantly, it's the stereotype, right? We think Wes Craven, horror. Meryl Streep, the epitome of drama and theater and movies and acting and, all that kind of stuff. So you wouldn't necessarily, I think most people would probably be like, no, Wes Craven, Meryl Streep, what? Nah. You know what I mean? Oh yeah. In 1999, he made a movie with her, directed her in the movie. Crazy. I didn't know that. I mean, I remember the movie. I know the name of the film, but I didn't know he directed that. That's so wild. So wild indeed. All right, we'll go for a few more minutes here. Rebel Rick says, I really hope Blum doesn't reveal too much in the H Kills trailer. Well, that wouldn't be necessarily up to Jason Blum. You have to remember that sometimes trailers also have test screenings and focus groups. That might be more of a universal decision when it comes to the marketing side of things than Jason Blum. This is not set in stone, of course, but it does depend on the size of the production. But usually what happens is that trailers are cut by many different trailer houses and all vying for their trailer to be the one that actually gets released. And then sometimes they will do a test screening for a trailer internally. Sometimes they show it to people outside, a select number of people. And whatever one tests well, they go with. But that would be more of a universal decision than a Jason Blum decision. Now, that doesn't mean that Jason Blum doesn't have say or clout or suggestions or the people aren't going to listen to him. But at the end of the day, how the movie is marketed isn't really a Blum decision. Because I'm pretty sure Universal is not only are they taking care of the distribution, they're marketing that movie too. That probably would be the agreement there. Blumhouse production. Wait a minute. We're back. I thought I was kicked off there, but we're back. Blumhouse Productions is the one. They're the ones that are hired to make the movie. So Blum, he's the one that hires the writers, the directors, the crew. They make the movie. But Universal is the one that, and it's co-financed, and Universal is the one that would distribute it and market it. So he probably doesn't have much of a say. Like I can tell you right now, there's a Halloween trailer that's ready. It's ready to go. It's been ready to go for a long time. But Blum can't do it. It's not up to him. Ryan Andrew Allen says, Meryl Streep is overrated. Her politics are ruining her legacy as well. I like Meryl Streep as an actor, but certainly, yes, politics definitely, I wish that stuff would stay out. Wayne Gotke follows up with a super chat and says, I hate the term fan service when Star Wars fans had way better theories for the sequel trilogy than the writers and producers did. I hate the term fan service. I know what you mean. Yeah, no, I do too. I think, well, You hate the term fan service when Star Wars fans had better theories. You hate the term fan service. Well, fan service, I think, I know what you're saying. Yeah, no, I get what you're saying. I do. I actually like fan service. I like the idea of it if it's done with taste and class, and it doesn't become the entire sort of narrative. Do you know what I mean? But fan service is good when it's implemented correctly, because nostalgia can be a very popular thing. And if you are making sequels directly related to movies that have come before that were extremely popular, it's okay to harken back to certain things. It makes sense. You know, it makes sense. It's just the thing that I think bothers me more than fan service is being blamed that what I didn't like about The Last Jedi was just because my 40-year-old fanboy expectations were not met. That I can't stand. Now, that doesn't mean that maybe there were some 40-year-old fanboys who didn't have their expectations met. You know, specific expectations that they wanted to see. My issues with TLJ, again, as I've said, is not really any expectations per se. It's more of the development of the character and the structure of this movie. It's just not how you construct a second act. You know, it's like I'm watching another first act. It's just very strange and awkward and weird. And it doesn't flow. It just feels strange. It's a strange movie. One of the strangest movies I've ever seen in my life. You know, so that's what bothers me more is just, oh, you just didn't like because you didn't have it. You know, it's like, no, I can quantify and sit down with you for an hour and tell you what is wrong with this movie. And none of it is because Luke didn't crush a Death Star, you know, or Luke didn't use all of his powers to his full potential. Had nothing to do with that. Edwin A. Sordo says, Dave, do you think your career would go... Excuse me. How do you think your career would go if you didn't break your teeth? I like your little tooth there. Yeah, for those of you that don't know, in the early 2000s, I broke my teeth playing street hockey, and I had to go on hiatus. I was pursuing an on-camera acting career at that point, and I had to go on hiatus, obviously, because I had to get my teeth fixed. And then in that time, I fell into the voiceover side of things. If I didn't break my teeth, I don't know. That's a good question. You know, there's a number of factors that shape people's lives and shape what we do and decisions and all that kind of jazz. So I'm not entirely sure. I mean, I guess I would have continued to pursue on-camera acting, you know? And I want to get back into doing that more because I really do enjoy that. I like being on camera. I like being theatrical and being funny. And you know, I do enjoy that a lot. So, you know, one of the reasons why I said yes, of course, to playing Freddy in Dylan's New Nightmare was not just because of the people involved, but because it was an opportunity to be on camera, you know, and of course I'm not being funny and, you know, being theatrical, but in a way I'm performing and I'm utilizing my strengths. So, that, for sure. So yeah, who knows, man? I don't know. All right, we'll go another 4 minutes here. Another 4 minutes, and then we will call it a show. And let me go. I don't think I missed any super chats. Kevin Bacon's boner. I love it. Love Kevin Bacon's boner. Who doesn't like Kevin Bacon's boner? There's always room for Kevin Bacon. There's always room for Kevin Bacon's boner. All right. There we go. Let me see here. Matthew Mills says, do you have any of your student films you could upload to YouTube? That's a great question. Unfortunately, no. The student films I shot were all shot on 16 millimeter. And of course, because this is back at a time when we weren't shooting anything digitally. I mean, DSLRs weren't what they are today. I mean, they weren't even like, I think, it just wasn't. And nobody had smartphones and people were shooting on film, and film was really expensive. And of course you pay by the foot, you shoot by the foot too. And at least you did. I mean, maybe not anymore. I don't know. But anyway, so I still have the reels that when you take the film out and you look up at the light, you can see the individual frames. You can see what they are. I still have that somewhere. At least I think I do. I would never have thrown that out. If that's gone and completely gone, then it accidentally got tossed. Because that was something I wanted to keep. It's kind of cool. I do still have that. Now, that's just the film. That's not the finished film. So there's no like music or sound effects or anything like that. It would, like, if I found a projector and we were able to put that on the projector and, hook it up and blast it onto a screen, it would just be silent, because I don't have the finished product. I think maybe the school does. I mean, it's over 20 years ago. I could always contact Niagara College and see if they, I don't think they would, though. I don't think they would. I don't think they'd have it. I mean, what, they have like a room that they store all these things? I don't think so. So it's probably long gone, but I do still have that, though. I do still have that. So that would be cool. That'd be cool. But it's film. It's not digitized. So unfortunately, no. Kevin Dugan says, they got Loomis in the 1978 scenes of Halloween Kills, though it should be Marion since she appears later in the movie. In the present, Loomis doesn't need to be there. Well, again, Kevin, if I understand that there's a high probability of that, but we want to make sure that we limit the spoilers for Halloween Kills here. We don't want any. That's not really a spoiler because I think people are kind of guessing that he's probably going to wind up in there anyway. But it's important that we don't just arbitrarily start talking about Halloween Kills if you have seen the test screenings. It's important that you are mindful of those who haven't, who don't want to talk about that kind of stuff. So just be mindful of that. Machete Slasher says, I'm planning to release my short film in the middle of August. Oh, okay. Well, if you're planning on releasing your short film in the middle of August, then I would release the teaser now, and then I would release your trailer in the middle of July. That's what I would do. Edwin A. Sordo says, hi, Dave. Hey, Dave, I just watched Ready Player One. Fun movie, and that shining part was Ready Player One is fantastic. Love Ready Player One. I mean, Steven Spielberg, and again, I say this and we'll end this here. If that movie had come out 40 years ago, 35 years ago, it would be a classic today like Back to the Future is. 100%. 100%. But it gets lost in the shuffle because there's a blockbuster coming out every fucking week now. Of course not now, but, certainly in 2018 when that movie was released. I think it was 2018. That was an awesome, no, maybe it was last year. No, I think it was the year before. Anyway, awesome movie. No, I think it was the year before. Awesome movie. And Spielberg again shows why he is the godfather of adventure films like that. The feeling you got when watching that movie, that sense of adventure and that imagination. And that's what Spielberg is known for. He introduced that into cinema. That didn't exist before Steven Spielberg. He really took it to the next level with that. And he comes along and, the movie did fine. It did well. I think it did well enough that you could make a sequel. Whether Spielberg will want to do it, I don't know. It doesn't need one, of course, but certainly it was, I wish he would do more of those films again. I know older in life, he's gotten more into the biopics and the dramas and that kind of stuff. And of course he's got West Side Story coming out later this year. And, and I get it, but I wish he would do more of those movies, the classic Spielberg that we know and love, because nobody does it better, man. Nobody does it better. A movie like that than Steven Spielberg. It's so great. It's so awesome. So I couldn't agree with you more. I love the movie. I thought it was great. Saw it in the theater and I was like, this is fantastic. I feel like I'm 10 years old. It's unbelievable. All right, folks, that's going to do it for me here on episode 74 of MCRAE Live. I want to thank you for tuning in. I want to thank everybody who sent in super chats. Hey, Frank Riker going hard into the paint with the last super chat and says to the sexy MFers in the chat, thank you very much, Frank. Really appreciate that. Thank you to all the non-super chats. Again, if I didn't get your questions, it's never personal, of course. Just a lot going on and I'm always thorough. And thank you to my moderators, Frank Riger, Tabitha Short, Darren Sands, and Jason Nike. Thank you for doing what you do. You guys are amazing. So now, I will not be back on Thursday. There is no MCRAE Live on Thursday morning at 11 a.m. because, like I said at the top of the show, I will be traveling all day and location scouting with Bruce for It's Me, Billy. It's possible I may go live that day. I don't know. You never know. But I don't want to guarantee anything. So So I will not be back Thursday, but hopefully I will be back. I should be back Friday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for that. Now, it's always possible. Maybe I'll have a video between now and Thursday. I'm not sure. Anything's possible. But I just want to let you guys know that so you're not like Thursday rolls around. It's like, where the hell is MCRAE? Because I can't do it Thursday. So anyway, in the meantime and in between time, that does it for me. You guys are amazing. I will talk to you guys soon. Cheers.